excuse me, the Native American dances have just kicked off over here in this Morning Star Amphitheater. Let me talk about Birmingham Broker, and then we're going to go over there. My man Craig, Birmingham Broker, he will sell y'all's ride out into the world and get you maximum benefit for it. And Craig is a great guy. Man, he's holding a parcel package for me. I keep bragging on him that he helped me out with while I was on the road that I'm going to go pick up, and I'll get to see those guys a week from Monday. But I'm telling y'all, if you got a ride, don't just go trade it in and get that wholesale price. Get a real price. Get a retail price at Birmingham Broker. Let them do all the work. They'll do the work. You get the check. Life is good. That's the way to do it. Birmingham Broker, bhambroker.com. bhambroker.com. All right, let me move that camera over there. You can see this is just to quickly describe, today is the dedication of this Morning Star Native American, or as they like to be called, American Indian dance performance amphitheater, and they're performing those traditional dances during this hour. This is kind of why we set up today, to be able to bring this to y'all. So I'm going to shut up and let you listen, let you watch if you're watching on Real Talk TV, and we'll see a little bit of the performance this hour. So I'll butt in here just a little bit. I had the benefit of seeing and hearing some of the show earlier today. They'll do a couple of little tribute songs as they get started, and then some really impressive vocals on some, I guess you call them solos. I don't know what they call them. Check this out. Also, just to describe to the audience that can't see it, they got a lot of little kids out there too, and they actually have their own part of the performance a little bit later in the show, assuming they're doing the exact show that they did in their very first show. For those just listening, this is only the second performance to be presented in this multi-million-dollar facility. So I'm not sure how much clearly y'all can hear some of the narratives, but she'll be talking and giving a little bit of history and where the songs come from and how they connect and all those things. Kind of a sparse crowd out here right now. It was completely packed earlier. This was the place to be in Cheyenne, Wyoming when they dedicated this arena. But again, a lot of folks are still over in the rodeo. The rodeo events are continuing this hour, so a lot of folks are still over there. Watching the Cowboys while we're over here watching the Indians, which is why we set up over here to start with. Again, a lot of generous people got together and built this entire village. This is, I'll give you a wide shot over here. This is the performance arena where they do all this stuff. And there we go. Let's see if I can give y'all a better sort of exterior view. Well, that camera's decided that one. There it is. That's kind of what the whole thing looks like from a distance. And then, of course, we've got our shot set up on the inside, so when they start doing the dancing, so some individual dances. What's fascinating is how these dances are interpreted and what they're supposed to show. Of course, we don't know. Most of us don't know the language and understand the lyrics. But to be honest with you, sometimes I still got to look up at the screen at church because I don't know all the lyrics there either to our spiritual songs. So, in fairness, that's how they do it. I tell you what, a little bit of a lull. There'll be some lulls here, and I'm trying to get our business in between that. So let me talk about Alabama Bass real quick. If you're trying to get it done, trying to do your own little rain dance in your own shower, but you feel a little slippery in there and you don't want to slip and fall, Alabama Bass for years has brought to us an incredible product, several products that are slip proof. They've got shelving, they got handles, they got ergonomic plumbing, beautiful glass frames, and it'll improve the look of your space. And you're dealing with a wonderful local company. So get this done. Don't dread getting a shower. Don't put it off. Don't skip showers because you're afraid you're going to fall. Or if you got a relative or a mom or dad that's in this stage now where it's hard to admit it, but we're vulnerable. And if you've got somebody like that in your life, y'all get together and as a family and get this done. It'll change everything about that dynamic. It makes the home safer, keeps you from having to go over and give Meemaw a bath with a sponge and a pole. I don't even know how people do that. Keep your independence, keep your freedom, and work with Alabama Bass. It's a 2-day project, and it's just a wonderful thing to do in your home. AlabamaBass.com over in Pelham if you want to go look at one of the build-outs. All right, back over to the stage. We'll listen and watch this particular presentation of the dance. So to interpret this song for people back home, all the white people listening, that song was our version of Bust a Move. Just seeing if y'all paying attention out there. I do apologize if you're watching on the TV screen about the poles. There's just no way to get around those in our position. It's just part of the structure here, but that's as close as we could get to kind of show you the center of the arena this afternoon. Should I be Simon Cowell right now and rate the whole thing, or just shut up and let them keep dancing? I'm just a little pitchy dog. No, I mean it is beautiful, and today I'm telling you, with the bigger turnout and the larger crowd, it was just so rambunctious because they had this emotional dedication ceremony to this whole facility, and so everybody was already charged up and ready to watch the dancers. So they dance and they sing, and just to give you a little background, another really cool part I haven't had a chance to see yet, and I'm not sure I'll get to do it because as soon as the show's over, we got a lot to do to get out of here and get on down the road. But I want to go see the story. One day I'll come back here and see the storytelling pavilion. It's different than this, but people do the oral history storytelling, and we've got a lot of venues around Alabama that do that, where people tell little stories. There used to be a fun venue downtown. Remember my buddy Van Sykes got up and told the story of something that had happened with him, and they'll invite people to come and do these 10 to 15-minute little local stories and spin yarns. So oral storytelling, it is how people learned about their history especially before people really had a written language. A lot of African history comes from that, the Native American history. A lot of Appalachian culture comes from our relatives telling us things rather than it all being written down. So they've provided a space over here for that, and I would love to go and just watch that. I know there used to be this play when I was a kid up in Cherokee, North Carolina, called Unto These Hills, and I'm not sure if they still do it. I think it's all casinos now, but it was really impressive. It was an outdoor theater play about that area. So these things are always beautiful to absorb and to try to be part of. Let me take a listen to her, and I'm trying to just kind of talk a little bit in between the singing because there's no point in me trying to talk when they're doing the singing because it is pretty loud. And I'll tell you, you can hear these drums if you walk over to the stadium. When I was packing up last night, there were some rehearsals going on in this space, and I'm over here schlepping boxes and packing things up into cases. And you could hear the drums over here just like they were in the stadium. These are all authentic instruments, played in the authentic style with and I got a chance to look at some of them earlier, so it's just utterly fascinating. So they're about to drop a beat and do another little dance. Let's take a look at that real quick. Hey, Jay, I do about your observations too, but I'm sitting here looking at these people in the sun and I'm thinking, did they have a different costume for summertime back in those days? Because that would be hot. They're wearing a lot of layers. I could see that in the winter. I wonder if they used to have dance-offs.
You know, they used to break them down, you know, or Soul Train lines.
Yes. Is there an American Indian Soul Train line? I'll get in on that. I can't turn down a Soul Train line, man. That's like my childhood watching that on TV. Just having a little fun out here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is what they do. I mean, I can't say enough about it, how they celebrate both the cowboy culture and the Indian culture together. Later in the show, they play a song called Cherokee Fiddle, and it's the if you got a way to take notes, it's by a guy named Johnny Lee. There's a line in there that just reminds me of all this. He's talking about how cowboys are wearing turquoise now and Indians are wearing cowboy hats because the two cultures are, learning from each other. It's just that's not what the song's about. It's about a guy who, an Indian that played fiddle at the train station. But it's just a wonderful song. But Cherokee Fiddle, man, when I was a kid, I hated it. But if that song ever comes on, I'll listen to some Johnny Lee. Back here in the day. I tell you what, let me take a break, and we'll try to keep everything on track that way. And I think they'll do this for close to an hour, so we'll get plenty of this in this hour of the show. Distinctive Pools bringing you the show tonight. If you would like to have your own cement pond outside your house, or whatever what do you think the American Indians would have called that? You can do that with Distinctive Pools. They just build beautiful stuff, gorgeous stuff, wonderful stuff. And with decades of experience, because Gary Levesque alone, 40 years of pool building and hardscapes. And I love telling the story that they put the two together. They've got experts at both, so they can build the whole thing that you need, not just the pool, but the parts that make the pool special, where you can use it even in the cool weather months, even in the wintertime, to watch the ball games and have your family events out by your beautiful pool and use it as a backdrop. And then in the summer, you're splashing in it. It's distinctivepools.com. Y'all reach out to them at distinctivepools.com. Back here in just a minute. Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Got another shot for you of the drummers. They'll be playing here in just a minute. Here, that line's coming up here in a minute, AJ. Keep it up in the background. I want to hear that line. Alabama Gold Refinery bringing the show tonight. Y'all go trade your stuff, sell your stuff, buy your stuff, whatever you want to do at AGR. It's a wonderful place. Steve's a smart guy, safe location, convenient location in Homewood across from the Regions Bank. It's Alabama Gold Refinery, a good place to do these things. You're smart to own gold. You're just smart to own gold. Let Steve talk to you about it. It's alabamagoldrefinery.com. alabamagoldrefinery.com. Again, on 29th, right across from the Regions Bank in Homewood. Alabama Gold Refinery. The cool kids call them AGR. AGR. Again, they'll do all of it. Gold, silver, platinum. Alabama Gold Refinery. Here's a little more Johnny Lee. Here comes that line I was telling you about. Cowboy. Man, that's such a cool song. It's about these guys that used to play for tourists, which is so a part of what we're doing out here at the train stations and put on a show. And he talked about how corporate America screwed over the music industry. That song was ahead of its time. All right, so, yeah, we're out here watching these Native American dances. What I did was move a camera position over. I had to reset some things during the break. The drummers are fascinating. And, again, they're under the shade, so they're a little harder to see. And they'll be fired up here in just a minute, too. But they got this whole core over there. And the volume that they get out of these native drums and the way they design them. I wonder what my man Gary Asher knows about native drums. He's my drum guy. He knows everything. But I'm telling you, it's amazing how it's both loud but not piercing loud. And it just creates this rhythm for everything they do. And so, yeah, that's what. So they got those guys kind of up on their own platform. I guess that would be the bandstand. That's where the band hangs out. If you're in American Indian and you show up for a venue, you go, I'm with the band, and you get your thing. So those guys are over there working the beat, and then in a minute they'll put some other. They've got some kids that'll come out and dance here in a minute, out there in the center of the dance arena. Here they go again. Let's take a listen. What an honor to represent your people and your culture that way.
Well, the drummers back in the day, like the rock stars of today.
I'm an American Indian expert now. Yeah, the drummers back in those days, AJ got all the cooch. They were the rock stars.
They were the keyboarders of back in those days, like the keyboarders of the 80s.
Yeah. You know, they're like, yeah, I saw James with Bear. He was over in the teepee of Bitches a whole lot, and I was like, mm-hmm. Would you, if you could have a Native American name, what would you what would be your Native American name, AJ?
He who beats with rhythm.
Mine would be Talks Much Trash. Talks Much Trash. I picked up on. I love the movie Dances with Wolves. It's such an amazing movie. But and a lot of that was shot not too far from here. Part of the area I drove through to get down here to Cheyenne yesterday was in that Lakota Sioux territory where those tribes are from. A lot of these dancers and performers are from the Lakota tribe, the Arapaho tribe. I was listening to her give the introductions earlier. She said they will do these songs and dances 600 times before Frontier Days are over. They'll have 600 different songs. It's a pretty amazing statistic over 10 days with all these various performances every couple of hours. But, man, if you want to come see it live, they've got a beautiful venue for it. And so we're just having a little fun with it this afternoon because, man, I damn sure can't talk over it when they get fired up. So might as well join them. All right, real quick, we'll take this break and come right on back. Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Y'all stay tuned. All right, so here we are still in Cheyenne, Wyoming, listening to yet another performance and rendition there in the arena of Native American drums and dancing. Gary Asher was listening when when I called him out. I said, I wonder what he knows about drums. Oh, he knew everything about the Native American drums. He just cracks me up. He sent me a text, says they call it the heartbeat of the earth, and he said it's all about that bass. I did some kicking bass over there. Yeah, we're live here at the new Indian American Pavilion. They're doing their second performance of the day, and I think the young lady has completely disappeared behind a pole. At least for those of you watching on the camera shot, I'll try to keep up with this if I can. We're watching what they're doing here. This is history in the making. Now, most of the crowd here at Frontier Days is still watching the rodeo. It goes for another hour or so, and then they'll do some more performances, and this place will be packed out. But these Indian Americans are just so proud of this place and the people that provided it and the way it's worked out. So they can do this. They can do these exhibitions and celebrate their culture here in their own spot. And so it's pretty cool. We were set up over here to do the show, and I was like, hell yeah, we could do everybody else's show and talk to a bunch of boring politicians and get analysis from washed up politicians, or we could just have some fun like this. So here we are on a Friday, leading live on the road, doing our thing out here, these Native Americans. I'm going to shut up and let them go at it a little bit. I've even learned when they get ready for the big finish, they do that big final beat. She took those hula hoops and made a globe out of it. Did you see that, AJ? That's pretty impressive. While she was dancing, she made that into a complete ball. That's like trying to describe it to the audience that can't see the visuals as we go through the afternoon here. Let me talk to y'all about All-American Metals. I have no idea if they would make you a teepee out of steel, but I bet they could. I've actually seen some out here on the road, some sort of symbolic stuff built out of metal. Y'all, what they do day in and day out is produce metal buildings, starting with the design work, and that's everything. Getting a proper design is everything. You don't want to put the door in the wrong place. Maybe you need 3 more feet here, or might need to be wider than it is long. They understand the use of these buildings and what it is that you need to do, and are happy to give you their advice on all of these things. They'll spit out engineered plans, quick turnaround on those. They're going to bottle up your project. Some of these big firms either can't do that, won't do that, or it takes them forever. But these guys work quickly. They brag on their turnaround is quicker, their prices are better, their service is custom. They're local folks. They go back to the 60s putting up steel buildings. And so this is who you can trust to put that whole thing together for you and get it on the trucks and to your site. If you need help with contractors to get it vertical, to get it erected, they've got a huge network of people that they work with all the time that specialize in these buildings. If you're one of those construction people and you're looking for a good source to constantly have a good supply chain for your materials, it is absolutely the folks at All-American Metals. John and his whole family, 2 families, decades of experience, 2 generations. Y'all let them do your steel project for you, whether it's a pole barn or a commercial application or anything in between. They do retail build-outs. Just facilities like this near me where this structure back behind me, I'll put the camera back there, they do mini storage designs, and in a lot of ways that's exactly what this is. It's a mini storage setup back behind me there with the roll-up doors and all the infrastructure. They could build that project. You see how they've incorporated stone and brick. All-American's happy to do those kind of projects for you. All-American Medical. Let me slow down. All-American Metals over in the Bessemer Hewtown area. Y'all can reach out to them at aa-metal.com. And now, on with the countdown. Here's number 10 today in the American Indian Dance Off. This song is called, I don't know what the song's called, AJ. You make up a name. So AJ, now's the part where I get to kind of make fun of it because they invited some white girls to come out there and line dance with them just to participate so they can kind of mimic what they're doing. So this is the part where I can make fun of my own people for being tourists and jumping out there. But hey, they had this, they love it. So these little girls got out there to bust a move, and good for them. Have you ever gotten sucked into something like that on a cruise or whatever where they pull you up on stage?
Yes. That's how you get the free drinks.
You think that's what these kids aren't old enough to drink? They just got to get out there and do it. I mean, kids love this stuff. You should have seen the eyes on the little kids that were out here earlier when they. I'm telling you, I couldn't tell you how packed this place was with this performance, and the little kids, as any kid would be, just utterly mesmerized with the costumes and the feathers and the constant motion. Just really cool stuff out here. Again, the pavilion is called the Morning Star Pavilion, which is very, very symbolic in their culture. It's when the sun rises in the morning. They believe that's sort of life-giving, and they wanted it to be named that. And the way the sun moves around that opening during the day and the shadows move around the facility is pretty neat. And as you can notice, nobody is sitting in the part of the bleachers that are in the sunshine. Nobody wants to be any part of that. All right, let's take a listen to a little bit more of this as they wrap up this particular performance. Okay, so it looks like they're done with their drum group, and then that portion of the show called Invite the Whiteys. And so it's called White People Can Dance Too.
Oh, I thought it was Trail of Tears, too.
Only their parents were crying. It's like, I thought you could do better than that. No, I'm just kidding. We got to have some fun with it. Here's a couple of tourists standing in front of my camera. Yeah, let me show you the outside of the facility one more time, too. I still got that shot up. That's kind of how it looks. And again, we're focused on the center of the thing they constructed. The centerpiece is this arena, this little small amphitheater. But around it are the vendor spaces, like the ones behind me there, all made in a circular formation with the architecture. And then, of course, outside of there is the storytelling venue and the other things that they've just incorporated. So this is part of now Cheyenne Frontier Days. The Indians don't just have a little corner of the facility. The American Indians have a very impressive place for all of these tourists to come and learn and to hear that history. And I would suspect there will be a museum involved in this because the chief donor that helped them get going this morning in the dedication ceremony clearly said that. He goes, and the crowd just roared. He goes, and we're not done. So now I don't know where they would put it. This whole area over here is kind of landlocked with the city's kind of built around it. And my understanding is the city actually owns all this property, except for this is more the nonprofit part over here. And but they kind of control it and help manage it. And this whole event staffed with volunteers. Somebody told me 2,000 volunteers yesterday. I've also heard 3,000 volunteers help put this thing on every single year. And it's just an honor to get to be part of it. If you serve long enough, they give you an honorary belt buckle that says you're a Cheyenne volunteer at the rodeo, and that's kind of cool too. So I know for those just tuning in, I'm re-describing some things some of you may have already heard, but it's just a fun, remarkable day. And I think the weather's backed off a little bit, making it easier for tourists to come see this. So let me also promote where we were going to try to set up today. And I changed my mind. I decided I wanted to be outside over here and see this little piece of history as it is just gotten open today. Right across from here, directly across from here, you can almost see it between those pillars is a very impressive cowboy museum. And They've got all the saddles on display. If you ever come here, go see those. When you win in the Cody Rodeo in the different divisions, you win a saddle. You win this hand tooled, this beautiful saddles that they've got over there. What a cool trophy, so to speak. So they got all those on display, and then a lot of history. There's art. There's art for sale in there, American Western art for sale in that facility as well. So just a lot to see and do. And if you came here, this is a 10-day event, and you can come any of the 10 days. By the way, I noticed one of the things we talked about a little bit, they've got a lot of Alabama, well, they've got a lot of big-name musical acts that are going to be playing usually at night. There's one tonight, and they'll have them on Friday and Saturday or whatever. And through the course, I had a program with me, and I've laid it somewhere. But the Red Clay Strays are playing on one of the nights here. We're not going to be here. I think that one's Sunday night. We'll have left Cheyenne by now, trying to move on down the road a little bit. And I hate that because I want to see those guys live. They're based out of Mobile, just an incredibly fresh act that's out there on the scene making waves. Riley Green, who's just everywhere in country music now with the Alabama roots, of course, is one of the performers here too. So Alabama's got a connection out here with some of our artists, and there'll be a lot of people in the competition too in the rodeo. And I haven't had time to try to look that up, but we've got a lot of young competitors that are from our neck of the woods that make it out here to Cheyenne, and they're out there in that dirt and in that dust right now trying to prove themselves. Pretty impressive time. All right, let's take a break. We'll get on to that, come back. It looks like I think they have just about wrapped it up here for some of the dancing. So I'm glad we were able to pull that off and see a little bit of that before the whole thing's over. 545-9950. We can go back to the phones, get on to some of that stuff too if y'all want to get in here. Let me talk about TAPCO, 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 downtown Birmingham. That's an acronym for Total Automotive Performance Company. And that's Michael. And I'm telling you, the minute I met him, I'm a first impression guy. I knew he was just straightforward. He's just so polite. The shop is so professional. He went about the business of hiring the best techs because cars are complicated nowadays. They're more rolling computers. And we all know that if you try to work on anything with your car now. Unless you've got the tools to diagnose some ghost in the system, you're not just going to turn a wrench and figure it out nowadays with most components on a car. So that's why we nowadays more than ever need a good, reliable, honest, straightforward, capable mechanic or service tech company in our lives. For me, it's TAPCO. The Jeep I brought out here and got us over here to the venue today, and I'll haul all of this crap out of here this afternoon. Could have locked up on me if I hadn't had them find and do a fine-tooth comb on that Jeep during this trip, because it gets towed thousands of miles before it gets driven, and a lot of stuff could have gone wrong. So I appreciate them. They did oil change and the basic stuff for me. So that's my story to you. Get your basic stuff done with Michael. Get to know him. Do your oil changes. Do your routine stuff. They can always look through and find things. You got a mysterious noise or some shake or some light. They can quickly diagnose it. They run a courtesy shuttle, which you don't see with a lot of shops nowadays. And if it's within reason, I mean, if you're working in Montgomery, I'm not sure they'd take you back to work. But if it's one of those day jobs where you're going to bring it in the morning, set an appointment, drop it off, they'll shuttle you to work and then get you and your car back together at the end of the day. And that's what they did for me. When they got that Jeep knocked out, Michael was so kind. He and his wife actually brought it to me with their courtesy vehicle. And that's the kind of shop they are, and I trust them with your ride too. He just happens to also be a Jeep and off-road expert. And I totally knew that if there was anything wrong with that Jeep, they would make it right, and they did, and here we are. It's TAPCO Birmingham. They're down on 6th Avenue South. By the way, I asked them for that Lead 'em Live discount. They got a 10% off discount at TAPCO too, so ask them for that. Y'all, it is TAPCO, TAPCOBHAM.com, TAPCOBHAM.com. Back here in just a minute in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Let's go. Let's go. Our chief sponsor of this whole trip, the whole trip sponsor for Leland Live on the Road is Appalachian Foothills RV Repair Center and RV Park up there in Winfield. Let me just give you a little backstory. I got to know, I don't think Stan will mind telling me the story. I had a different RV back in the day, and somehow I did something stupid and the windshield just kind of popped loose. I was driving down the road one day and I saw the sun coming through one of the corners. I thought, how in the hell did that happen? I think I just went up a bumpy driveway the wrong way. Anyway, it's called a pop out. I didn't even know that could happen. So I needed it to just be pushed back in. It wasn't even a broken windshield, and I needed an expert to do it. So I headed straight to Red Bay because that's the epicenter of Tiffin World, and it's where all those shops are that do that work. And so I found the glass company that could do it. I had my radio gear with me, and I said, can I just, because I was going to have to stay overnight, I said, can I sit out here in your parking lot and just do my radio show from the RV and just crash here and you do it tomorrow? He goes, sure, I don't have any problem. So I put the show on, and I'm sitting there in the RV, sitting at my dining room table. In those days, we didn't have all these cameras and stuff, so it was a lot simpler. And I get a text from Stan, who reached out, who I'd heard from before, and he goes, are you in Red Bay right now? I said, yeah. He said, man, I'd love for you to meet Mr. Tiffin and do a factory tour with us tomorrow. He had been a listener to the show for years. So, man, I got to meet Bob Tiffin through Stan and got to know him. It was just a fun day. They fixed my ride, and, man, I was immersed in that culture of all that stuff they do up in Red Bay. And Stan, by the way, Stan was one of the big VPs at the company at that time. Well, later they decided to open up another service and repair center. You know, the business starts to stack up with people. I mean, you get out on the road, you're going to ding something, you're going to mess up. Don't stress over it. Just fix it later. Get yourself home. It's going to happen. It's part of the life. And so service centers like this, if you trust somebody with your paint work, and when your stuff quits working and you can't quite figure it out, they can just knock it out for you and fix it. They've seen everything. So his team, they put together these experienced folks, and I mean, some of their paint and body people were the original paint and body people that painted these things. So they're good. They're real good at color matching and fixing cracks and whatnot. And that same RV later, I would back into a tree and crack the rear cone on it and the fiberglass. And sure enough, and then I was getting ready to sell that one. So, man, Appalachian patched it up, and I've got pictures of it. I want to show them someday. You could not ever tell anything had happened in that area because they're so good at the body work. This trip, man, it was both my hot water heater and my generator decided not to work at the same time. So you get out here on the road and you don't have hot water, and you got to run the generator in this heat to cool the whole thing down while you're going down the road. I mean, you get by for a little while with dash air, but you got to have your generator, man. They got to the bottom of both of those problems. I tried my best to diagnose it myself. I'm cheap sometimes, and I think I can fix anything, but I was running out of time, and so I took it to Stan, and I was like, dude, can y'all do it? So John got on it. These guys are just good at all this stuff. Worth the drive from Birmingham or anywhere you're listening to me. We got owners of these things all over the place. Even out here, there's so many. There are 3 Tiffins right next to me in the camp where we are tonight and tomorrow night. So I'm just telling you, reach out to them at Appalachian if you got anything that you need done, and get to know them, build that relationship like I did, and they'll get it done. They'll just get it done, and I appreciate them. So beyond them just being a sponsor of the trip, they're my go-to for oil changes. I've done 4 or 5 oil changes every season. I'll get them to do that, make sure all the mechanics are good. So many things to consider when you're out here on the road. So, yeah. And I had, by the way, Appalachian Foothills, they're right off exit 30. If you're on I-22, they're just right off that exit. I've had a couple people ask me to do a tour of the motorhome and how my rig looks, because people that are interested in this stuff try to learn from other people that are out here doing it. And I'll do that someday. I don't know if this is the best trip because we're so crammed in there, and we're moving so much. We just rarely have a whole lot of downtime. I was telling my buddy, I got a buddy that's a professional musician, and he reached out to me today. He said, how's it on the road? He kept calling it my vacation. I said, well, 2 weeks of this, yes, that was a vacation. I wasn't doing anything. I went limp. I just went brain dead. But this roadshow thing is very much like being in a band, man. You got to pack it. You got to get your gear to the gig, get everything set up like you do every single night, and to put the show on. And then you got all that packing up and loading up and hauling back to the next location and riding in the next town. And he related to that so quickly because This is my man Barry Waldrop. He's toured with all these big acts all over the country, and it's a grind, but you love it. It's worth the travel when you meet these new people and see people. I sort of feel like sometimes too out here, I'm a little bit of an ambassador for the state because we have so many people that are interested in our state. I don't know how many times I've said, even on this trip, they were like, "You come see us in Alabama," and you'll have people go, "Don't y'all have beaches too?" And I'm like, they have no idea. We've got some of the prettiest beaches in the world, or don't y'all do this or that? And a lot of people, it's amazing. A lot of people know Talladega. You could see how this culture and that culture would be. There'd be some cross pollination, but so again, it's fun. It's fun for me. I don't mind the grind. I do miss home. I'm ready to get back to home. AJ, I'm actually ready to get back in the studio. That'd be a whole lot easier setup than than all these stands and cases and wires and stuff. But it's been a great summer trip. We got one more week to go. We're heading down through Texas next week, maybe a little bit of Colorado, and then all the way back to Birmingham. So I hope y'all will hang in with us, and we'll make some fun out of it. Back here in just a minute from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Y'all stay tuned. Leland Live on the road.